I went to this cacao ceremony with a new friend of mine, and well, she was facilitating this ceremony, and we went through this guided meditation where we were confronting, or not necessarily confronting, but meeting our inner child. So my adult self as I am today, meeting my child self from the past in one area. And I felt like I went back to visit my inner child, obviously to provide comfort for the stories she had to tell herself in order to survive and in order to just make it through the circumstances that she was placed in. And I also wanted to see if there was any puzzles that I can pull from her, myself, meaning me, my past child, my inner child, because I have been figuring out, I've been struggling, trying to wonder, what is my identity? What type of person I am? And, you know, I've always been into taking personality tests and, like, you know, researching, you know, my astrological placements and pretty much finding any information I can find that will give me insight on my thought patterns and my the way I navigate this world. So I really wanted to see, okay, well, instead of looking outward, let's look inward. Clearly, there are definitely some truth a little bit in some of these tests and, you know, studies. However, at the end of the day, it's just more labels. You know what I mean? And these labels were not created by me. Do I identify with some of these labels? Sure. However, when you place a label on yourself, you're almost kind of just putting yourself in a box, for lack of a better term. But it's like there's so many things that I feel connected to. And I thought, well, what do I feel in my essence? Who am I in my identity? So my goal was, when I was visiting my inner child in this meditation, what answers she could provide, because children are very wise. They are closest to the divine source than we can ever comprehend as adults, and they bring a lot of wisdom. So I'm someone that likes to put things together. I'm an investigator. I research. I find answers. If there's something that I want to know, I go and find that answer. And, you know, I always enjoy putting puzzles together, brain work, analytical work. I have a very sharp mind. I'm a very, very intelligent person. And I struggle sometimes because the way I'm wired, or the way I think, is very, very strategic, very analytical, what's the information? What evidence do I have to support this information to lead to my conclusions, and so on and so forth. But sometimes I get random insights that don't come from anything. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I research into it. It seems interesting, but I'm like, okay, can I trust this information if I didn't read it in an article? Can I trust this information if I didn't watch it on a video? And I find myself constantly looking for validation in other sources of information to support what I feel inside. Almost I have to rationalize how I feel. And emotions and feelings are something that I've struggled with. Vulnerability, I still struggle with that. Even just putting myself on camera is a struggle. I can't even look at myself in the video. I have to look away. So, it's hard when you grow up in, I mean, I've always had a very rich imagination too. I would create fantasy worlds in my head that there is like a main character, supporting character, there's a scene, there's a setting. I mean, I had a very vivid imagination. I still do. But I've learned, or I've been conditioned through this beast matrix box system, whatever you want to call it, to chip away at some of that. So I went back inside myself in my inner child meditation, and I wanted to ask, hey, what pieces of yourself can you give to me so I can piece together my identity, so I can piece together my journey, my path, whatever I want. And she handed me the puzzle pieces, literal puzzle pieces. And I looked at them and they were blank. And I said, why are these blank? And she said, well, because you can put whatever you want on it. And the pieces to the puzzle of your identity and your path, there are pieces that you have to go search for, but you can design what's on that piece and make it fit to whatever other pieces you have. And that's a lot of responsibility, and that takes a lot of work, to say the least. It takes a lot of work, and it's a lifelong work, because sometimes the piece that you painted and you bring it to the full picture, you're like, this doesn't really fit. This isn't what I thought I needed. So you erase it or you throw it out, you get another piece, you draw something else, put it there, that fits better. And it's so interesting because my life up until this point has been so serendipitous, should I say? I mean, I am really becoming more serious with my artistic skills, because that's really my biggest way of self-expression is visual art, putting things out onto something that can be seen and interpreted in whatever manner or fashion the interpreter wants to use it as. And I just been dealing with a lot of anxiety and unworthiness and feelings of, is this really for me? And I am someone that if I'm going to do something, I want to do it well. Like, especially if it's something that's coming through me, coming out of me, that I put my mark on it. I don't want anyone to tell me that this is not good because you did it, or this is not subpar because you had your imprint on it. I want to put forth my all into it. And I realized, okay, well, I clearly need guidance. I clearly need support. I don't know everything, even though my ego tries to tell me that I do, because again, I am a very intelligent person. I am very book smart. I'm very well read. And I can pick up on concepts and ideas and synthesize them in my brain in a rapid fire, like instant, and it makes sense to me and it clicks. And if something stumps me, or if I don't understand it, then I feel there's something wrong. And no, it's probably the only reason why I don't understand it is because I was never shown the way, it was never shown to me in a way that I could get it. And I met my art mentor through a YouTube video. I watched her on a YouTube video and I looked her up, and she lives locally to me, and she's been mentoring me for a couple months now. And I've feel like this huge sense, like shift, that wow, because I have a really hard time connecting with people. I have a very hard time relating to people. I can be very awkward in settings, especially group settings, but one-on-one, I do much better one-on-one, very intimate settings, because it's there's nothing else to be distracted by. It's like you have to have your presence there. And when I'm very in tune with someone one-on-one, it's like very beautiful. It's a very beautiful energy exchange. But sometimes I feel like I'm not fully putting myself there. And it's like, sometimes I put some part of myself there, but then it's another, I'm also putting a part of myself that I think that they expect to see. And that can just come from influences from this society that's done by design, by the way. Like there's a reason why social media exists. There's a reason why these characters exist on our TVs and on our phones and on our screens. There's a reason why certain agendas are at play, because we are being influenced to believe that this is how we are supposed to act. This is how we are supposed to live. This is just how life works, when really the only authority of your life is you. Literally. And there's no label that can fully encapsulate the true being that is you. Nothing that can ever be created by another person can fully describe and honor the beauty and the love and the truth and the light that is filled within you and me and others. And we have been targeted. We are still being targeted. We will continue to be targeted, so that we don't figure that out. No one can ever have dominion, like authority, rulership, anything over you, because that's just not how life works. And I realized that my culture and my upbringing and all of the experiences that I've had, they have shaped my perspective, but it doesn't shape who I am. It doesn't shape my identity. I can shape that. I can create that. And that's why when my inner child told me, yeah, I will give you the pieces, here you go, but you got to put something on there to make it fit into your puzzle. And it's kind of exciting. It's nerve-wracking, but it's like the possibilities are endless. So now I am really realizing, what do I want? What do I know? because that's I think alone time is so crucial, because you don't have the influence of other people and other distractions coming and going. You can come up with insights that just pop up and you have no idea where it came from. And that information is the most valuable because it came from you and no one else. And that's what you should trust. And then if you're still unsure of yourself, like, is this really me? Is what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I want coming from me, truly? The me that's connected to our divine source? And we're so powerful that we will get confirmation some way, somehow. It's a beautiful life that we were given. It's a beautiful world that we have. And most of us don't even realize the power that we have. And I really hope that by me sharing this, sharing myself, my journey, my story, and what I have to share can help other people realize that too. So I appreciate you watching.